recollect those things, then I think we will be richer. At least, you know, when I look at, I can look at 4 levels of Professor Oommen as a human being. How was he as a human being, as an organizational man, and as an institution builder, and last as a researcher, knowledge producer. So in this way we can look. But I think, you know, the most important aspect is that what can we take away from his personality as a professional, as a teacher, as a student? What can we really take away from him? As a student, you know, as a colleague, as a researcher, and as an interviewer, I can say that, you know, there are 4 very important takeaway from his personality. One, I think everybody will agree, his punctuality. You know, he was very punctual, time period, and, you know, we will be ashamed of ourselves that he can sit before 5 minutes to a program, and then he will ask, where are you? I am in the room. Now, you have to be before 5 minutes. That punctuality is one. The professionalism, and that shows meticulousness, actually. In social sciences, we say sab kuch chalta hai, and that's what he was very critical of that. No. You have to be dovetail, small little details of the program, of write-up, how many minutes you are going to give us, what is the exact theme, and what is the topic on which I have to speak, who are the other speakers. All this has to be told only when and only then he is going to be there. As far as, you know, personal human being is concerned, I know, you know, the last program which attended, I think Professor Tipluk Nombari was retiring, and he made it a point in that, you know, it was winter evening that he was there, and he remained there. Of course, that was a function we attended. But in informal programs, I remember Professor G. Srinivas's party, and he came actually, that party also. The last, you know, when I was talking to him, he was at funeral of Imtiaz Ahmed, and with a stick he went to that graveyard and there. So at each and every level, as a human being, he will always talk that despite being so you know, busy, but yet he will find the time for asking everybody's well-being, and also, you know, taking a special interest that, what are you doing? And that question always kept us on toes, that we have to, you know, gather some information and tells us this is what actually we are doing, so that. But friends, you know, as a organizational man, as everybody has said, the last day, you remember a person when retires, the last day he donates 1 lakh of rupees to the center, and saying that, look, I am giving this money so that out of the interest of this money, every year the MA student who gains the highest grade can be given a medal and the interest money, whatever it is. And I think, you know, center has really accepted that, and I really am happy to say that our center has, you know, now named it as if that it is actually in his lifetime itself, it is declared as TK Oommen Award, the highest person, and now actually we keep on, I think past 22 years or past 20 years, this function is taking place. So sir, we assure you that your memory will live with the center forever, till actually the younger generation will take over, because now our time is also coming close to say goodbye. And we never grew actually, because Professor Oommen was there, Professor Tipluk Madam was there, no, actually Maitri Chaudhary, they all kept on coming, and we never felt that we are growing. And today, you see, we are also about to retire. Now, friends, the third thing which I always feel his contribution is to the sociological association. The 29 committees, now they have become 33 ad hoc committees. 29 committees was his brainchild when he came from the international, president of an international, the only Asian to be as the president of the International Sociological Association. And of course, the Indian Sociological Association. So in that context, he contributed to the nation building. In the center also, global studies program should not be forgotten. I think now it has reached 22 years, and global studies program is one of his brainchild. That at that time, 22, 23 years, when globalization was yet only in its fancy, how did he invest and brought it actually, 5 continents, actually, Europe, Latin America, Africa, and Asia together, that how these can be united and can there be a global studies program. And now we have more than actually, some 700 to 800 students world over. They have been trained at the Center for that study of social system, giving them the degree. Now, coming to this, knowledge production, I think one of the very important contributions made by Professor Oommen is, understanding the Western epistemic syndrome, especially 2 levels Western epistemic syndrome, that how Western sociologists have tried to look in things in binaries, actually, old and new, young and old, or you can say rural and urban. Oommen was not very comfortable with that, and that's why he always talked about that there cannot be binaries, but there are continuum also. We have to look continuum, and in his book, Alien Concept and South Asian Realities, this continuum comes to fore. The second is displacement syndrome. The Western sociologists have always talked about displacement. If modernity comes, tradition will be displaced. If there is a movement, the state will be displaced. But Oommen was actually arguing that no, there is actually partial displacement, partial accretion, and also there is partial, say, hybridization together. So there is always a different type of emergence. Another aspect, you see, his first book, he came in 1972. That is actually Charisma Stability. And the last book came in 2022. That means for 50 years, he has contributed in the knowledge production in terms of the books. I'm not going in terms of the articles, but books. And therefore, friends, we always felt, and we always, ask, sir, please actually give us some space for us also. You produce so much that we feel ashamed that how to actually go about that meticulousness in production of knowledge. The, other point of paradigm in which he has produced knowledge. So when I was doing, research, and I was actually taking a long interview, and when I started actually, giving, and as I just told you that how meticulous he was, that he read his interview thrice. I think, Manoj will also say that, he was also taking. When I took it, he read thrice before he let it go for publication. He read it thrice, and then, of course, there were corrections. But friends, I discovered 4 paradigms in which he has produced his knowledge. And I think there is empirical data to look at. The first, of course, is the local paradigm, the sociology at the local level. And you can read, the perspective from below, the theorization which he gave, especially in terms of sociology of knowledge, the researcher's location in the society has a bearing on the construction of consciousness out of which production of knowledge takes place. And in that, actually, stratified knowledge, and in which this perspective from below theorization starts coming. Then, actually, he came to national. And in that, a plea for contextualization of Indian sociology, that is the article you can read and say that what national sociology should look like, from where it will draw the values. And constitutional values were very important fulcrum around which the subject matter of national sociology should revolve. Though he argued that yes, we have taken constitutional value not only from India, they are from actually, other societies also, but they are universal values. And in universal values can be taken, and therefore a national sociology can be given. Then actually the third level, the third paradigm is the continental sociology. If you look at how he begins with Europe as a center, goes to America, the new society, the Latin America, and then Africa, and then India, Asia. That is the fulcrum on the basis of which he has given. I don't have the time to give you, but each and every element he tries to give what is the ingredient. And last but not the least is the global sociology, what will be its fulcrum. Now in that context, friends, that there is a paradigm, there is a methodology, and there is also epistemology of each. The last point which I want to actually take you is that how, why, and he, at what level he did not accept the binaries. I think, or displacement syndrome. How? This is the votary, or he was the votary of multiple modernities. He did not accept the dichotomy of tradition and modern. Rather, he was talking about that how the first world modernity, the second world modernity, and third world modernity, what were the epistemic bases and how they differ and why they differ. Now, therefore, friends, there is lot of knowledge production which he has done, but of course, that thing has not come to him on a rosy bed, or it was not a very rosy walk. I think we should engage with him in his biography. Look, trials, tribulations, and triumph, the life and times of a sociologist. And therefore, friends, as a professional, because he treated sociology as a profession, he said that, look, we are the people who profess. There is nobody to judge. It is only peer-driven, evaluation, and therefore sociology is also a profession. So let's actually, I don't want to forget, I don't want to say that we a bit adieu to him. Rather, I want that everyone should remember him in day-to-day affairs, day-to-day life, and of course the Center of the Study of Social System, and of course from on behalf of School of Social Sciences, Jawaharlal Nehru University, I pay my respect, and also I really assure everyone that his memory will last long till we live all. Thank you very much.